This is KUTX 98.9, Laurie Gallardo, and I am absolutely thrilled to be speaking with our guest today for KUTX at Home. This is the Kit, has a new album coming out on Friday, October 23rd, via Rough Trade Records, and I have been giving it a little sneaky peek listen, a bit of a preview, and I've got a lot to talk about. Please welcome the mind behind This is the Kit, Kate Stables. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Nice to be here chatting to you.
Nice to chat with you. And I'm like, oh, where do I begin? Except for the beginning. I know that as a producer, you were working with Josh Kaufman, rather. He was producing the album.
Yeah, that's right.
And, he is in bands himself, like Buzz, Bonnie Light Horseman. And I wanted to ask what you felt he brought to the table, because he's got all these other projects, but I don't know, I've heard many great things about him as a producer, working with the National, with His Golden Messenger. Give me the inside scoop on that.
He's a really great guy. He's got a very natural way with music and finding his place in music and finding sort of fun things to do with music, but at the same time taking it super seriously. I feel like his I feel like I can really hear his presence in the recording. Obviously a lot of, I know what he added and the decisions he made, so to an outside ear I wonder how it comes across, but he brought just lovely parts and arrangements, and kind of just as importantly, he brought just a brilliant energy into the studio. Like, the band just fell in love with him, and he was such good company and so good at working with everyone. He was a real pleasure to work with, and it was just I'm really happy that it happened, that it was able to happen.
I know that it's kind of difficult to explain. I know that you know what you were hearing. I know that you were experiencing it. I think absolutely, you nailed it. Speaking as an outsider, I've noticed that he works with artists who bring these beautiful complexities. I was going to say, This is the Kit is exquisite. This is not something ordinary. To me, it is lovely because of its complexity, and I feel that Josh seems to be attracted to sounds, to compositions like that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's attracted to them. I mean, I hope that he, likes it. I think he does. He says he does. I think there's a mixture as well, and I feel like me and Josh have similar sort of sensibilities in this area. We're both drawn to things that are a bit complicated, but also are quite simple. Because on a lot of levels, my music is really simple. It's pretty repetitive sometimes, and just fairly straightforward musically. It's not. There's no sort of complicated modulations and symphonies, but yeah, he really knows. He's sort of about quality rather than quantity, and it's really nice to work with someone who's got a good ear, good taste, and just a good approach to working as well.
Felt so instinctive.
Yeah, he's really instinctive. He's got superpowers.
I love that, a producer with superpowers.
Yeah.
And now, oh my word. So again, just to let you know, I was able to get a preview and sit down and really absorb the new album myself. Off, On is the title. And it's not very typical of me to sit down and say, I'm going to break these songs apart and this is what I think. But I was literally slowing down, going back, playing everything over again.
Okay.
What a wonderful experience.
Well, thank you. That's really nice to hear that that the songs were, they did that. That's nice.
Like I say, the nerd in me comes out, and I was
great.
I was really enjoying it. And I wanted to start with two of my favorites. First of all, Start It Again. I don't know why I was so obsessive about that, but first of all, I love your lyrics, and I am really big on letting people have these conversations about what we project onto them, but just the lyrical part of everything has a flow in this album. And I was thinking, choosing and not choosing to be free. Oh, and like,
Oh, thank you.
here I am quoting, and people are going to be going, what is she babbling about? And you know, pieces like "This Is Your Strength," you have a rhythm, and when you get that rhythm, you seem to find it and go with it, and that's what this flow on this album does to me personally.
Well, that's really great to hear. That's a real, that's a real compliment.
Well, it's not fair to ask a songwriter, where does this come from? You can't really explain something like that. And I think that's why I'm having a difficult time trying to phrase a question like, you know, typically I would say, what is your inspiration? But there's a beauty to Start It Again that just, I don't know, it's difficult for me to pinpoint.
Yeah, and it's hard as well because everyone does ask that, what's your inspiration? And there's just no answer. Well, that doesn't last 20 years. You know, we don't have that much time here. So it's just, it's a difficult one. But yeah, for Start It Again, I guess I was just thinking about the fact that as humans, that's what we do. We start again, and we have to keep going and stay hopeful and keep at it. And there's, on a kind of a personal level as individuals and the kind of emotional stuff, whatever, but also as societies, as civilizations, you know, look at the Romans, look at ancient Greece, you just got to start again.
I'm afraid we're experiencing the Romans right now at this very moment.
Yeah, we're experiencing the Romans, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, a bit of a Roman Empire moment here, guys.
Yeah, just slightly. And another one, I think this is probably my favorite album on the track, Shinbone Soap.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, a more kind of not hidden track, but you know, doesn't make very much of itself. It's sort of one of the more low-key ones.
I think again, you pointed out why that caught my attention anyway. It's not this big booming presence, but I think that's what got me. It's creeping up on you, and here's the vampire who wasn't invited in completely. I might add. There's that little part that's like not completely. But I don't know. It spoke to me in waves, and again, I find these little bits and pieces. You know, quicksand, knowing better but still sinking. And I thought, yes, let me explain my life in 2 seconds. Knowing a lot better, but still thinking. I know, Kate, I keep repeating myself, but this is poetry.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, I think the entire experience of the album, there is a movement, there is a flow to it.
Yeah, well,
and, how exciting to put something like that together. But again, this is also this is also a complex beauty to me. Just your rhythms. I have memories that keep pulling things up from jazz that I would listen to, classical music. I love your use of horns, period.
Oh, thank you. Great. Good to hear.
That's extraordinary. And it gives everything, I don't know, it makes everything so much fuller, or it gives it a lot more character.
Yeah, the horn section does add character, I agree.
not to make light of it, but absolutely. And I was wondering, when along the way did you decide to use more horns in your music? I don't know if this is something that has been with you forever. Perhaps it has. I would love to know more about that history.
Well, it's kind of a combination of enjoying it for the live shows, because it just feels, you know, it's a different feeling. There's just different vibration when you've got a horn section for the gigs. So just bringing a bit of variety into our live set was kind of a reason for, you know, getting the horns involved more often. But also another reason is that Jesse, who's in the band but doesn't really tour much with us because he's at home being on dad duty, one way that he can really be involved in the band is writing the horn arrangements, and he just loves orchestrating stuff and writing arrangements, and so that's kind of his special power, and that's his kind of input into a lot of the songs. And also just there's horn players we love their playing and we love being with them, So any opportunity to get them in the studio or to get them on stage with us is just a real treat, because, you know, when you love people, you want to be with them and hear them play.
Hear them play live.
Yeah.
And something all of us are missing terribly.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to stop rambling on about that, but whenever I'm doing my show, I go on and on about, oh, how I miss live music. And
yeah, it's really hard. It's a big part of our nutrition. It's a big part of our balanced diets, and we're not getting it. So we're, you know, all getting anemia because of it.
getting a little shaky. And
live music anemia.
What a horrible, horrible time.
Yeah.
Of course, on KUTX, one of the songs we've been featuring is one that was shared early on, This Is What You Did. And I believe, I might have heard you mention something about this before, that it's kind of like this rushed, it's a panic. It's almost a panic, and it is really also about getting stuck in unhealthy patterns.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, once again, something that speaks to so many of us.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a very common thing, isn't it? We get stuck in these kind of brain loops, and if you don't sort of talk about it or sort of actively try and get out of these negative grooves, then you can just sort of spiral out of control, the tailspin down into a pit. But I guess this song for me was also kind of a little bit of an exorcism. I think a lot of this album kind of talks, maybe indirectly, but it's about saying things out loud and kind of exercising these things that fester unless you get them out. And so for me, this song is a bit that, say it out loud, and then it's kind of just get dispersed in the wind, hopefully.
You can feel it. I think I like the physicality of the song, because just, I think, again, instinctually, at first listen, I was already feeling like, what is this? Oh my gosh. And there's, again, the rhythm, the way it's going, the speed that it has.
Yeah, and we do experience music physically, like songs, and, you know, it is a real physical experience. And I think people forget about that. They think it's just sort of ears and brains, but it's a full body workout.
It is my favorite way to work out. I don't work out any other way, so I might as well do it through music.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, and again, yes, I certainly felt it with This Is What You Did. And then I go to the track No Such Thing.
Okay, yes.
Reality, no such thing.
Yeah, no such doesn't exist, basically. In short, no such thing.
It struck me, but one line that leapt out to me, we all move at different speeds.
Yeah.
And again, going back to what we were saying earlier, yes, absolutely. But reality, who ever heard of such a thing?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a lot of discussion to be had on the subject, and it's true, that thing of moving at different speeds, like, this is part of this problem I think we have at the moment with sort of empathy and understanding, like wanting everyone to be up to the same standards of whatever, living, working, like running around, or I don't know, anything. I feel like we've really got to focus in on how great it is to be different to each other, and to allow for each other's differences, and to kind of celebrate it a bit. Well, a lot. Celebrate it a lot.
A lot. And hopefully this is happening more and more.
I hope so.
We're hopeful in this interview.
Yeah, you got to stay hopeful.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
And music is helping, Kate. Music.
Yeah, it does help. I think we really need it for hope, and for, you know, well-being, and for positivity. And even if we're singing or writing or playing music that's about difficult things, we need that to get through it and overcome it.
Absolutely. And one other thing that I wanted to touch upon, I am such a great admirer of people who are able to go on tour and concentrate on other things, yet they're still able to write their own music and focus on their own music. And I know that you did tour as part of the Nationals live ensemble.
Yeah.
And my brain exploded a bit, because again, when I think of the National, I tend to think, oh, there's more music that I like that is also a bit complex to me. And I say complexity really because that's something that excites me. That's a quality that I admire. And so much like this is the kit, the National is something extraordinary to me. There's an extraordinary presence with that. But again, my brain just poof, exploded because I said, Kate, how did you do all of this at once? I know that were you working on your forthcoming album during this time, or did you already have some songs that you were working on previously?
There was a few songs I already had, because I guess I've been writing this album since sometime in 2018. Like, okay. It's been a sort of a slow process, but a lot of it did come together when I was on tour with the National. I mean, and I agree, like, I can't believe it when people write on tour. Like, I just think, where's the time? Where's the solitude? Where's the, like, room with the door you can shut? But it turns out that when you're in someone else's band, just singing and not being in charge, and when it's a band that kind of has hotel rooms, then you can get some time on your own and you can be in a room and shut the door and work on songs. So that, I just felt so lucky to not only be part of that tour and learn so much from everyone doing the tour, but also have a bit of solitude time. And I was able to sort of think and write and look out the window of the tour bus and just be traveling to amazing places. I think travel and meeting people and new experiences just really feed you, and that can only kind of help, I think, when it comes to writing and thinking about stuff.
So now that so many of us are not touring, now that many of our artists are not being able to perform live, have you been doing any live stream performances yourself, or do you prefer to kind of hold back on that? Maybe do you have another avenue?
Yeah, well, I've been dabbling in live stream stuff, not very much. Like, I think I maybe did 1.5, I'm gonna call it a half, 1.5 live stream things during the actual, like, intense lockdown time that was the kind of, you know, beginning of the year, March, April time. But and now I'm trying to get better at doing that sort of thing, trying to get better at filming myself play music so that to kind of share stuff despite not being able to move around, especially with this album coming out. So that's a new skill I'm slowly, hopefully, getting better at. I hope I'm getting better, but it is slow. I'm really bad talking to cameras when there's no one else to actually talk to, you know, all this stuff. I don't know how people do it, all these YouTubers that are just there chatting away to the camera. How can they do it? There's no one there.
It's an odd thing. It's an odd existence. And you know, kind of, I don't really do anything for YouTube, but really just something as simple as going on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm here live on Instagram. Who am I talking to? I have no clue.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a strange thing. I'm thinking maybe some of us who are a bit introverted, maybe it might help just a little that no one else is in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's horses for courses. Some people just take to it like a fish to water. Other people have to learn a little bit how to relax into it. I'm definitely the latter category.
It's like, no, give me the live audience. I'll be just fine.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm looking forward to when that happens again.
I think a lot of us, well, I think all of us hate the uncertainty of it. So
yeah, it is hard, but at the same time, it's kind of a reminder that it was always uncertain. We just had this kind of false sense of security that we knew what was going to happen. The reality is the reality that doesn't exist is that we never know what the future's going to do. So it's kind of if we're going to try and find pros to counter all of the cons to the situation, I think it's good for us to be ready to adapt and to know that things may or may not happen. You know, we've got to be ready for anything, really, just in general. Before, we used to have probability on our side that, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get a train tomorrow because I've booked my ticket, but now all that's out the window.
It's like, when again? I have no idea. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, it's a good lesson in letting go of sort of control, I guess. But at the same time, you don't want to let go of too much control, because I feel like there are people taking advantage of, like, tightening control because everyone else is in this situation of not having control. So we've got to watch out for those guys. Yeah. Don't let them get too grippy around what we're up to.
Never. I'm too stubborn. I won't let it
Yeah,
happen.
that's good, good.
Well, again, congratulations on such a beautiful album, Kate.
Thank you.
It's lovely. You know, and I say I've been gushing. I got so enthusiastic about it. I was actually at the Rough Trade Records website for the label, and I was like, "Oh, green vinyl! You don't say." So I got really carried away.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. That's really nice to hear.
I told you, nerd right here.
That's great.
No
Love
shame.
it.
No shame.
Yeah, that's good. That's the #1 policy, the golden rule, no shame.
I love it. The name of the album is Off, Off, On. I have been speaking with Kate Stables of This Is the Kit. Kate, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Thank you. It's been really enjoyable. Thanks for your thoughtful questions.